Howdy folks, Bluesboy Jag here, yet another 3-string cigar box guitar lesson. It's John Lee Hooker style licks for beginners. I'm tuned to open G. That is a G string, a D, and another G. G, D, G. Super common open G tuning. Let's get started on this one. So we're going to be doing some hammer-ons and some pull-offs with that hand, and we're going to be doing some choking with that hand to make it sound funky. John Lee Hooker choked a lot of his licks. What does choking mean? Well, you're chopping the chord off. So, in order to get this lick going, we're going to do what I just did just then. I'm going to do a hammer-on on the second string. I'm starting with the up strum. You can use a pick or your fingers. I prefer my fingers. I pretend like I have a pick, but I don't. That's how I strum, with the tip of my first finger and my thumb. But like I said, you can use a pick if you like. So I'm doing an up strum. And I'm doing a hammer over here. And I'm hammering on the second string, 3rd fret. I'm starting with the up strum. Super common John Lee Hooker style. So I'm starting the lick on the middle string as far as fretting. I'm not fretting anything for the very first strum, and I'm not fretting anything on the down strum either, except when I go here. So I'm moving from the second string to the 3rd string. I'm starting out doing the hammer and the pull on the second string. Then I'm going to go to the 1st string here. So there's 2 parts to this lick. The first part is, the second one is. I'm just moving from the middle string to the 3rd. Remember, you're starting on the up strum. That's a really, really good lick to know if you want to play some John Lee Hooker stuff. Do that up strum. Another little word of advice. Depending on your guitar and how you're tuned and the scale of the strings and all that stuff, sometimes it's actually harder to strum up here because the strings tend to be higher off the fretboard than they are down here. They're real close to the body down here. I don't know if you can see this, probably not, but they're real close to the body down here, and they're much farther away from the fretboard up here, depending on the action or the height of the strings, depending on what type of fret you use back here, or I should say bridge back here. I'm using a small bolt on this one. I like my action to be pretty low. So if the strings are slightly higher than mine, it might be a little bit difficult or feel a little weird to do this. And if your fingers are kind of getting tangled up in the strings and it's a little bit difficult, you might try lowering your strings. Real slow. I'm hammering on that middle string. Then I'm going to go to the 1st string. Now I'm going to do it on the third string and the second. And I'm choking all these. Notice how when I do ba-do-da-lep, I'm not doing ba-do-da-la, I'm doing ba-do-da-lep, ba-do-da-lep. Doesn't matter what string I'm hammering. Also, if you strum closer to the bridge, you're going to get a brighter tone. If you strum right over the pickup, much more bassy. If you strum over here, it's going to be real bassy compared to down here. Sounds like two different guitar players. Lots of different options there. So the idea is that you're playing a funky lick and choking it with that hand, and you're moving your fingers to different strings. How about we do that lick strictly on the first string? I'm not moving to the second or third. How about the middle string? The only one I'm fretting is the middle string. My thumb is sitting there looking like it's kind of pressing down the third string, but I'm not. How about just the first string? I'm using my nail on the down strum. I'm using the meat of my finger, or the tip of my finger, on the upstroke. So I'm doing this on the upstroke, I'm doing this on the downstroke. Why? Well, why not? Just gives you different tones. If you want it to be bright, and you strum up here, use your nail. Now, another thing I haven't gone over on this lesson, but I've gone over this on many, many other lessons. I'm choking with this hand. So when I press down, for instance, that middle string right there, I'm killing the third string just because I want to. You don't have to, with my thumb. And use my nail to do the strum. That gives it a bright tone. And I'm choking with that hand, remember. So if I'm fretting, for instance, the middle string on that fret, and I want to kill it, these fingers are flopping around and the thumb's killing the third string. So the only string you're hearing is my second string with my first finger on it. That's a real common John Lee Hooker boogie. All right, let me give you 3 more of these little variations, I guess you'd say, of this lick. So I'm going to do variations on the first, second, and third string. I did a double pull-off. And notice my fingers flopping around. This is in a bunch of my other lessons as well. So I'm fretting the first string, 3rd fret. That's all I want to hear is that one note. I don't want to hear any other strings. I'm getting the D in there sometimes, but I'm trying not to. How about the middle string? The middle string is easier to single out because I'm muting the outside 2 Gs. I'm muting the big string with my thumb, and I'm muting the small G with my first finger. So just experiment, move your fingers from string to string, and you'll stumble across all of these little nuances and these little mutes and stuff. But that bouncy, choppy style is totally John Lee friggin' Hooker. Choking with the second and third fingers. Now I'm playing the first string, fretting the first string I should say, on the 3rd fret, and I've got the other 2 open. All I'm doing is playing the same lick on that 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd string. Don't forget the muting with these 2 fingers. If you want to, you don't have to. Now I'm doing pull-off. Have fun with that. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my website, jagshouse.com. Cigar box guitar is just like this one since 2004. We'll see you next time.